Hi everybody. So today I'll be reading off my script because I realized something is kind of weird. So over the years I developed this very weird, I'd rather say skill than talent. I'm very good at public speaking. Now at least I am. This wasn't always the case. Just one day I had to give this presentation at school and I just found out what works for me, and ever since I've been very good at public speaking. But whenever I want to tell a story to my camera and there's no audience in my room, I forget what I want to say. So I wrote down my whole story, and even though it might look very weird that I'm just sitting down reading off a piece of paper, but I want to share my story and I don't want to mess it up. So here goes. It's been a while. I kind of doubt that people are really going to care how my year was, considering I haven't made any content since last year. But I really love to reflect at the end of the year and see what I've looked forward to, and I just love sharing that. So I'm making this video for myself, but I also just like to share my happy memories. So today I will be reflecting on 2022 personally, how it was for me. A little bit of context. I graduated from high school last year. So since July 2021, I've been taking a gap year. I already had in mind what I'd like to study, but because I wasn't entirely sure, my parents recommended I take a gap year. More specifically, they would call it a gap period in case I needed more than a year to figure out what I want to do with my life. But I didn't need a year, so when 2022 started, I was already in my gap year routine. I was working the same job I had when I was in high school, but my hours were different. So in high school, I would work every Saturday, and in my gap year, I was working Tuesday, Wednesday, Fridays, and on Monday and Thursday morning, I went to therapy. I've been saving money all year so I could pay for my tuition by myself. Also, for the longest time, I've been wanting to do a video about my therapy, as I really think it could change people's mind. Therapy isn't that scary, and it's such a big help. It really did help me turn myself around. So maybe I'll do that someday. I'm just a chronic procrastinator. My first milestone of 2022 is that I finally got diagnosed with autism. I've been taking tests and interviews and questionnaires since August, so I was really glad to get that result, or well, at least a result. Honestly, it was a big relief for me to hear I'm autistic, and to this day I'm still learning how to be patient with myself, set boundaries, and most importantly, find shortcuts to do things that are harder for me than for the next person. My boyfriend got his driver's license, so we took a spontaneous trip in February. I actually forgot about that little getaway until I was flipping through my diary to find highlights of my year. It was so much fun. On Friday morning, before I went to work, we booked the trip, and Friday in the evening, after work, we left for vacation, so it's really exciting. And after that, also February, I got COVID. I was really bummed that I managed to stay 2 years safe, and at the end of it all, that I still got it, but I was fine. I also ended up in the emergency room a few times, not for COVID, but because I get these allergic reactions that we're not really sure what triggers it, because last year I did get tested for allergies, and I have a list of things that I'm allergic to officially, but I haven't reacted to most of those things ever. And whenever I did have to go with an ambulance, I didn't get in touch with any of the things on the list, so that's a bit of a brain scratcher, but head scratcher. It's, it's weird. And now I'm on medication, so me and my allergies are doing very good. Also, in February, at the end of the month, I visited one of my therapy friends for the first time. And it's really funny because I'd always liked her, but we weren't close at all. I just went for, for the hell of it, because we all live kind of far away from each other. So going on a visit is a big deal, you have all that travel time. And because of the travel time, I also slept over the first time. And we weren't even that close, but I did it anyway.
So
And
cute.
it's really funny because I went over that day. We grew really close, and I go over there very regularly, and she's one of my closest friends now. So that's really a good part of my year, that I got close to that person. It's, makes me feel good. Because I was working more hours, I had to take this course for my work. It was a big struggle because I have procrastination issues. Like, the material wasn't even that hard. I just struggled every single day to actually get myself to study for it. But I passed, and I was so happy. Their grading curve is very annoying though, because I think I got like 86 or 87%, and they rounded it out to an 8. Like, if you're gonna do the rounding up, rounding down thing, give me a 9. I got like 87%, but I'm just glad I actually studied and that I passed. It was really nice. It's a very big win for me, and I'm actually, I am kind of proud of myself that I have some knowledge about like nasal sprays and cough syrup. On May 19, I said my goodbyes to my therapy group. I really wasn't looking forward to it because I grew so close to those people. They really felt like family or best friends. It was a very beautiful session. My therapist was also leaving, so for the group, it was a double goodbye. At first, we sat in a circle and we shared what we were going to miss, and it was just a moment to cry and just to let it all out and to acknowledge sadness, because, well, saying goodbye is sad. We all cried, even those who never really showed any tears. That was pretty cool. Then we did this really gorgeous exercise where I put 3 chairs next to each other. The first chair I sat in, I had to visualize being my old self. So the me who just started therapy, and like, I was very timid back then, very anxious, and I had a lot of things that I struggled with. So I had to, imagine I was back to my old and broken self and introduce myself to the group. Hello, hi, I'm Mel. These are my issues. This is what my daily life is like. I was still in school back then. And I would tell them what brought me there. After that, I moved over to the chair in the middle, and that would be my present self. So the one who's graduating therapy and starting a new life, and, well, really about to face the world on my own. After telling the group about my current self, I moved over to the last chair. She's the future me. I introduced my future self to my friends, and I tell them about all the goals that I now want to achieve, that I actually achieved them, and the life that I now dream of. I could tell my friends what it's like to live that life. And it was really a magical experience because I got a taste of what it's like to live my dream life. It just felt so real for a minute. And after that, all the members of the group and the 2 therapists wrote me notes. This is something that we did very often in therapy. If someone was going through something rough, we would all write a little note, and you could write whatever you want to tell the person. It could be something like, "It's gonna be alright, you got this, I believe in you," or something like, "I'm so sorry you're going through this, I love you, and I'm here for you." All the notes regarding my leaving were so sweet and so kind. And I want to read you a few, so I'm just gonna get my old therapy box. This is what the notes look like. They're all written in like this cutout heart-shaped paper. So this one was from my co-therapist. So we, like as a group, we shared 2 therapists, and then the group was split into 2 groups, and like one group had, you know, one therapist and the other had their own little therapist. So this is from my co-therapist. Dear Mel, I wish that you could stay your sparkly self. That it's so hard to translate on the go. Wait, just give me a second. Okay, so it's like, dear Mel, I wish that you could stay your sparkly little self, and that you'll gather sweet, positive, and if necessary, honest/critical people have around you. Take good care of yourself. Lots of love, co-therapist. So this one was from my own therapist. Dear Mel, you really are an amazing and beautiful person, and I wish you a beautiful future with very sweet people around you and a very cozy little home that I know you'll get someday. I'm going to miss you so much, but I will never forget you. Lots of love, my therapist. So this one was from the friend that I visit now on a very regular basis. Dear Mel, my God, how much you've grown in the past year. When I met you, you were this very small, timid little Mel, but look at you now. You made so many big steps, big and small steps, and you can be proud of that. Actually, you have to. I hope that when you leave the group, you'll take everything, you'll hold on to everything that you've learned. You're a very strong woman. You got this. I love you. From my friend. So I read these on the bus when I was going home that day, and I cried. All these notes were so beautiful, even from a few people that I met just like 2 weeks before. It's just so special, so near and dear to my heart. Also, that same day, I got my first tattoo, so that's also a milestone, and I just love it so much. That was on a Thursday, so the next Monday, I had my private goodbye with my own therapist in our last session, and I honestly don't even remember a lot. I just remember lots of crying and still kind of my fear of abandonment, but in a beautiful way, I guess. And the next day, so next Tuesday, me and my boyfriend broke up. This is a less happy chapter in the year of Mel. Both the breakup and the timing absolutely broke me. I was a mess for weeks, and I'm not going to go into detail because that's really my private life, but also his private life. But because it was such a significant part of my year, I had to include it. And funnily enough, a few days later, I reconciled with a friend who I hadn't talked to in, I think, a year, a bit more or less than a year, because we had a falling out. And that very close friend is now my best friend. So, you know, one door closes, another one. On June 2nd, me and my parents went on the vacation of my life. As you know, I am biracial, but I'd never been to my other country of origin before. My parents always wanted to show me my roots, and where I'm from, but it was really hard to plan. When I was still in school, we could only go in the high season, but those plane tickets aren't affordable at all. So now that I wasn't in school anymore, we took our chance. It was a wonderful, magical trip, and I really loved it. Our family took amazing care of us. They cooked us lots of wonderful food, and they showed us around, and they took us nice places. and we ate fresh pineapples and mangoes every single day, and it was just so good. And when I was writing this down, actually, all I could think of to tell you guys about was the food, but it was so much more than just food. But most of what I remember was just food and drinks, but it was so good. And when we got back home, I did this wallpaper all by myself. And if you take a close look, you can see that it's not perfect. But aside from me not being a professional, I was working with scraps and leftover wallpaper, so that's why it's not perfect. But I'm so proud I did this all by myself. And I get that to a lot of you, doing my own wallpaper isn't really that impressive. But considering my disability, it's a win for me. I also made a little gallery of happy childhood memories on my other wall. I'll show you a clip of that. And you can't really tell right now. I got these sheets on purpose for the video, but you can tell right now my sheets match the wallpaper. Isn't that cool? I also have a water bottle in the same pattern, but I can't see it at the moment. Even though me and my boyfriend were broken up, we couldn't stand being apart. We still went clubbing together, and we went to the movies and to dinner. And a few days before our anniversary, we got back together. So we are together now, and we've got 3 years together, almost 4. So I'm really happy. In August, me and some friends went to Pride. I always wanted to go, but there were always obstacles. I remember a few years ago I actually went, but because I was busy all day or something, I was too late, and like all the festivities already kind of ended or something. But this year we had a really good time. And the next day, me and my boyfriend went on a trip for the summer. We went to this very cute hotel in Germany, and we also had a great time there. At the end of August, the first voluntary program started for uni. I went to this program called Better Prepared and the Introduction Week. And that weekend between the programs, I went to this festival called Mysteryland.
Tomorrow is a mystery.
It's very big, so maybe you've heard of it before. Now it's September, I'm officially in law school, and you know what else is in September? My birthday. I turned 21 this year. My best friend slept over the night before. I made us a cute semi-fancy breakfast with like fresh croissants, and what else did I do? Oh, I also made us some scrambled eggs. And after breakfast, I brought her to school on my bike because I had the day off, but she didn't. So I just put her on the back and I brought her to school early in the morning. And then when she was done with school, me and my parents and my friend and my grandma went to an adorable pink cafe where they sell a bunch of elaborate sweets. I really wanted to see my boyfriend on my birthday, but because he's in college too, he just couldn't make it work during the daytime. So after all the fun things during the day, I went to his place after dinner. So I still got to see him on my birthday. And September was also when I got this beauty. I wanted a custom LED sign for the longest time. And after saving money, I finally got it. This is like... I think this is one of the most valuable things I ever bought with my own money. And I just love it so much. In November, I met my internet best friend in real life, and it was crazy. I've known this girl for 5 years. It's a really weird thought because she's been with me through so much. I couldn't stop thinking about that on the plane. Like, our lives have been entangled. Like, she's been with me through so much, and we've never even met before. Like, I'm gonna meet her now for the first time. It is such a weird thought to me. Like, when we met, I was depressed and in a toxic relationship, and I was failing school. She's been with me through retaking that entire school year. She's been with me when I made a bunch of awesome new friends. She's been with me through curly hair, straight hair, braces, curly hair again, getting my braces off, and since today, straight hair again. Getting my glasses, oh my god. She was there when I was convinced I was a lesbian. She was there when I got a crush on my now boyfriend and started doubting my queerness. She was there when I bagged him all of our anniversaries, when I graduated high school, when I did more years of high school to get a higher degree, or well, diploma, I guess. My second graduation, my entire gap year. Now I started university, and I still only knew her through texting and FaceTime. Like, all that, like, we've experienced together and we've shared. And still, I hadn't met this girl. Actually, she was my longest phone call. I got off work. Every Saturday, I get off work at 5:30. So I called her by 5:45. And we hung up around midnight. Her birthday is the 4th of November. So I flew to Vienna on the 3rd. So I could, take a moment for myself, in a new country, new city before meeting her. It was an amazing trip. And it was really weird to finally meet her, but like weird in a good way. I always assumed that hugging her would be strange, but it really wasn't. But you know what was weird? Eye contact. Because, yes, we have spent a lot of time together, but on FaceTime, it's not the same. So I've seen her face a lot. We've seen each other like ugly and pretty. So I didn't expect that having her look into my eyes. I had a really wonderful time, and it was kind of wholesome to meet her family over her birthday. Meeting her is a memory I'll cherish forever. I was supposed to get my belly pierced with her, but all the piercing shops were busy, so I got it done at home with another friend. I already had my navel pierced last year, but the piercer really messed it up, and I curse him. Oh my god, it healed horribly. And the lady who redid it for me told me it was going to reject if I hadn't taken it out. Like, this looks kind of nice, right? So the other piercer, he couldn't decide on where to put the dot. So he kept like redoing it until the dot was just too huge to know where to stick the needle through. And he didn't ask me if the placement was okay. He just like made this giant dot and just went ahead with it. Like, at least in my experience, for all my piercings, they always ask, like, is this placement okay when they put the dot? So I was kind of shook that he did the dot and he didn't ask me, and he just went with it. And it was crooked. Like, no, it was pierced also way too shallow. But it was also crooked. Like, whenever I looked down, the dots didn't, like, the jewelry, like the balls, didn't align. It looked like this, looking down, and I just hated it so much. And, looking back, I should have taken it out earlier. I was just so hesitant because of the money, getting piercings, it's not cheap. So I kept it in, I think, for like 2 months last year. Because I was like, do I take it out or do I just accept it? And then finally I did take it out, and it left a bit of a scar. But now that I got it redone, the scar is less visible, which I'm very happy with. But now I got my piercing, and it's all well. And the lady who did it for me was very sweet and very professional. So 10 out of 10 would recommend. On December 7th, my grandpa was admitted to the hospital. He's been in horrible health for years, and he was very old. He was 89. So that was a very stressful time because he was doing so bad that every day we were convinced it would be his last day. But he pulled through for 20 days. He just passed away a couple days ago, just after Christmas. So me and my family are in mourning right now. However, I am looking forward to 2023. I'm going to a few concerts, which I haven't done in the longest time. I've got tickets for 3 of them. Also, a new year means new Eurovision every single year. I'm looking forward to it. Also, a few days after the new year, I'll be taking my driver's exam, so maybe I'll get my license next year. Me and my boyfriend have a short trip planned to Lisbon. I've never been before, to Portugal. So I'm really excited. What are you guys looking forward to in the new year? I hope you'll have a really nice 2023. And remember to take care of yourself. And I'll see you soon.